everyone. Thanks for joining us for today's episode of the Doobert webinar. So today we're going to be looking at how you can run your pet food pantry within the CCM module. So this is really great for your data tracking and recording all of the people who apply for your pet food pantry program, as well as giving your organization a little bit of insight into how many pets that they are going to be feeding per month, things like that. So other than that, that is really going to be the base of what we're talking about today, but then we'll also look at some of the communication features that you can use within the CCM module to basically enhance your pet food pantry program. So if you're new to our webinars, typically how they work is we're going to go through a quick little slideshow, and then we're going to jump into the system and talk about everything we just went through here. And then after that, we're going to hop back into the slideshow and just go through a brief little Q&A with questions that we get asked on demos about the topic, or things that we get to our help email, really just FAQs. So other than that, let's get started. So for our overview, the idea of managing your pet food pantry in CCM is really great because you have the ability to report on the number of people that you've helped, for example, each month, each week, things like that in our reporting module. And it's also really great because you can store contact information for any of your applicants right within the case. And then you can also store pet information because this is really good insight for your organization on how many pets they're going to be feeding per month, making sure they have enough pet food to accommodate all their applicants, things like that, because you can also record information such as age, weight, things like that that might play a role in what kinds of foods that they will be eating. So getting to know the case information, I highly recommend using tags to identify the food type that they're requesting: dry food, wet food, treats, things like that. And then another great use for the case tags is to identify whether it is a dog, cat, or other, because we can use the search functionality to search through some of our cases that have those tags within them. So for example, if you're looking for cases that both have dogs and cat, or just dog, things like that, it's really great to just be able to search those so quickly. So that's why I highly recommend using tags for that. And then we can include details in the case description. For example, a little bit of information on their request, how often they want to pick up food, and any of their preferences. And then we can also add context tags for the contact for whether they're looking for short-term or long-term solutions for pet food, because this is really easy to search as well. And then looking at the animal profiles, it is really great to create an animal profile for each pet needing assistance, because this is good for reporting purposes as well. So you want to add an animal profile right to the owner or applicant's case. So one thing that I like to recommend is adding breed, age, weight, or any demeanor information to best determine the amount of food that they might be needing, or looking for the best type that might fit them. So if your organization likes to really accommodate any of your applicants, I highly recommend using any of those basically pieces of information to base your donation around. And then we can also use workflows to schedule our pickups. So this is a really great communication feature because it's going to be such a time saver. So I highly recommend using Calendly or any other scheduling tool that gives you a shareable link, because then you can configure your schedule to basically send this out to any of your applicants and let them choose when they'd like to come in and pick up their pet food, whether it be monthly, every few weeks, things like that, whatever your organization chooses to do. But this can be sent through an email or a text workflow, and that calendar link will be right included in whether you do the email or the text. So that's really, really easy. And then all you're going to do is just execute that workflow to send this out to your cases who are applying for your pet food pantry. So that is all I have for our just quick little slideshow. So now we're going to jump into the system, and I'm going to show you guys how this is all set up. Okay, so now I'm logged in as an organization. So as usual, we're going to head over to our companion case management module right here, and we're going to click on cases. And I'm going to walk you guys through a pre-existing case, but if you're interested in learning how to create a case, check out our case creation webinar. It is one of our very early ones. So those are available at the Doobert webinars site. But I am going to click on advanced filters, and I am going to search for the case assigned to me. And once we click search, we have our pet food pantry case right here. So as you can see, we have our case type as pet food pantry, and then we also have our long-term support as our case status. So that's a really great way to organize it if you like to differentiate between a one-time pickup or a long-term support option. So I am going to click on this case because this is the case we're going to be working with today. So as you can see, we have our statuses right here, and then our type pet food pantry, and then down here is how we utilized our tags, which I mentioned in our slides. We have the dry food tag right here because this is really great for searching any of your cases that are requesting a dry food. Monthly support, so they're looking to receive pet food donations every month. And then I also have senior dog in here because this is just key information to help the organization decide on what might be best to give to that applicant. So whether you have a puppy, senior dog, adult, anything like that, that's always good to include right there because it can easily be searched just to get an at-a-glance number of how many senior dogs you're going to be working with each month, or puppies, and so on and so forth. And then down here in our case description, what I did is I have a long-term support option was requested on 4 of 16 of 24. Monthly pickups are best for the applicant. And then right here is where I tracked the amount of times that they picked up so far, as well as the dates. So I have a pickup on 110, 215, 318. So it kind of just shows your organization a little bit about when they picked up. And this is also really great for reporting because you can report on the case description. So if you're looking for a little bit more of an at-a-glance view in terms of how they compare to all of your other cases, I highly recommend running the report on the case description to get this really valuable insight right here. And then here we just have our contact information. As always, I have an email here. So we're going to send out an email scheduling link because we don't have a phone number, just so you guys can keep that in mind. Depending on how you want to connect with any of your applicants, whether that be email or text, be sure that you have it within the case. And then down here, we have our animal profile. So this is where we can get a little bit of information about the pet that we're going to be helping out this month. So we have Winnie right here, her animal profile. And if we click on edit profile, we can view a little bit of information about her age or anything like that, whether she's spayed, neutered, and really any information that your organization wants to collect on all the animals that they're going to be helping. So if we go back into our case, then if we hop over into our additional information tab right here, this is where we can track a little bit of our demographic information if we would like to on any of our applicants. So we have, for example, that they're looking for pet food pantry assistance because they had a job loss, that she is a female, and that she is also a middle-aged applicant. Just if your organization likes to collect those insights on who they help most or least, things like that. So that is there for reporting purposes. And then down here we have our internal notes about the contact. We said reach out monthly to confirm if pet food is needed. If so, we're going to send them out our scheduling workflow. So that is really great for team collaboration, just letting everyone in your organization know when they view this that they will want to reach out and decide if they need pet food or not. So that is kind of an idea of what you can use the internal notes about the contact section for. But if you have any other ideas, you can definitely add those right here. And then we have our tasks, files, and activity logs down here, but that doesn't really apply too much to our pet food pantry cases right now. So I'm going to jump back into our details right here, and I am going to show you guys how we can start setting up our template for scheduling, and then we're going to put it into a workflow, and then we're going to send it out to this applicant. So we are going to close out of our case right here, and we're just going to head down to our templates. And then whenever we're going to be creating a workflow, we want to create our templates first. So I'm going to make an email template for a pet food pantry pickup scheduling. So we're going to create a new one right here, and so we're going to name it Pet Food Pantry Webinar Scheduling, and then we're going to do an email template. You can do text, email, both, whatever you prefer. So then we'll put in our subject line as well as any of our contents. So I'm going to go ahead and pop this in, and I will be right back. Okay, so I just put in a little message. Hey there, cause for pause here. Just reaching out to let you know it's time to schedule your monthly pet food pantry pickup. And I also have my Calendly link right there, so they can just click on that, choose their time, and then they will be on the schedule for a pickup if your organization likes to schedule that out. But it's super, super efficient to be able to send these out through a workflow. So all that looks good. So I'm going to go ahead and click save right here. So we have our template created. So now we're going to head over into our workflows and we're going to create our workflow. So we're going to create a new workflow right here with the plus sign. We're going to name it Pet Food Pantry Pickup. You guys know I can't spell. There we go. So we're going to click save on that. And then we're going to click on email because we created an email template. And then we're going to look for the template that we just created. So Pet Food Pantry webinar scheduling. That looks good. It's going to send to the case contact. And then we're just going to fill in our blanks right here. For example, if they don't reply, we will just put a 2-day time delay on this. And then the workflow will automatically end. So we have everything filled in here, so we're going to click save and publish. So super, super easy with just one template in the workflows to get those set up. So now we have our workflow ready to go. So we're going to head back into our case that we've been working with. Once again, I'm going to search for my assigned case right here. And then we have our Pet Food Pantry. So what we're going to do is just click on this execute workflow right here, and then we're going to scroll down till we find the workflow that we just made. So Pet Food Pantry pickup schedule, that looks good. So we're going to click on execute. So now to the email address that we have listed right here in our contact information, they are going to get a message with a link to schedule their pickups. So that's really, really simple how you can start organizing your pickups, setting up your cases, all things like that. So I hope this really gave you guys a lot of insight into how you can start customizing your cases and also recording some of this really valuable data. So now we're going to jump back into our slides and go through a quick Q&A. Okay, so our first question is, can you share a little bit about how we can use the search functionalities within CCM to find our cases that we're looking for our pet food pantry? So that's a really great question, and I'm going to show you guys all of the advanced search filters that we have and how you can use them. So I'm going to head back into our cases right here. And right here, as you can see, I always use the assign to. So if you have a team, you can assign your cases to them for really easy searching. For example, if you have one team member who manages your pet food pantry, you can assign all those cases to them, and it's really easily searchable right there. But we can also search by our tags right here as well. So for example, we will search senior dog if we're looking for any of our pet food pantry cases that have a senior dog. So, and then we can also add them if we want to search any and all. We can do that as well. So that's a really great one. And then we can see we have only one pet food pantry with a senior dog. So that's just a little bit about the tag searching, but our case statuses, we can also search for these right here. We have our long-term support. We can search there. We can clear all these out. And then we can also search by case type right here. So for example, we want to see all of our pet food pantry ones, no matter what information that they have in them. So we're just going to click on pet food pantry and search. So now we can see we have three cases on pet food pantry. We have a date range. If we're looking for a specific phone number, we can put that in, a name, contact name if it's different than your case name, all things like that. So you have a lot of options for how you can start searching your cases and really narrow down your searches. So our next question is, I'm interested in getting a high-level count of how many pet food pantry cases I have without going into the cases. So that's another really great question. So what we're going to do is customize our CCM dashboard to give you a high-level count. So this is really great for any of our shelter rescue managers, EDs, program managers, all things like that, just if you're looking for those raw numbers and high-level counts. So we're going to hop back into the system, and I'm going to head over to CCM again, and we're going to go to the dashboard right here. And then as you can see right here, we have our high-level counts. So for example, this is going to tell us that we have 3 pet food pantry requests. So there was 2 different ways to go about that. We go into the cases tab and we search for our case type of pet food pantry, or we can come right here and just view this. We have 2 spay neuter, 10 foster volunteer, all things like that. So if you're looking to customize this, for example, if you don't have pet food pantry already showing right here, you're going to want to click on manage defaults. And down here, and we have our case type quadrant. You'll be able to go in here and customize which ones that you would like to be shown in the quadrant. So right here we have pet food pantry. And these also are laid out in the same order as they are on the dashboard. So this is going to be your first row and your second row. So it really just mirrors it. So if you have a preference on where you would like them to show up on the screen. But other than that, it's super, super easy to start customizing your quadrant for those high level counts. But once we make any changes here, we're just going to click save. And your changes will be reflected on the dashboard. So that is all I have for our Q&A. So thank you guys so much for joining us, and I hope to see you in our future webinar.